Elevation Nation. Today on the podcast, we have on, as Parker likes to say, a super special guest, someone who's going to teach us all a little bit about how important your network is, the people that you know, who you meet, and your personal brand. She is a VP at Truist, the co-founder of Lead Networking Group down in one of my new favorite cities, Charlotte, which if you haven't been, go check it out. It's a dream and so much fun. Maybe I'll live there one day and hang out with her in person. But we have on the one and only Bri Blair. Welcome to Elevation Nation. We are so excited that you are joining our crew.
Awesome, guys. Thanks so much for having me. I love our chats already, so I'm excited to dive in.
Even before we hit record, it was pretty cool, I will say, to hear that you're going to play pickleball right after this, because that makes me think that the spring is rolling. Good
Oh,
weather,
yeah.
good vibes. It's all coming in. We're past the winter. I mean, here in New York City, winters are pretty brutal. I bet a little bit more brutal down in Charlotte, but
But
it
Bri
is
doesn't know
pretty
the real
cool.
drama with pickleball, Parker. I think we have to fill her in. So,
Oh
Bri,
yeah, there's a little
if we
drama.
ever bring up pickleball on any podcast, Parker somehow thinks that he can beat me, and we haven't played each other yet. But there's so much shit talking that happens. I'm surprised he didn't bring it up, so I will. I can't wait to play Parker this year. He's going to be married, which means, he's got his mind on other things, wedding planning. I can be practicing, and I'm going to kick his ass, and I just can't wait. So,
I,
spring is here. I'm ready.
I want a video of this, please.
So Sam doesn't
Pass
come
it
off as
along.
the type of guy who has like racket abilities. Like I grew up playing competitive tennis. I played all the time. And while I haven't played pickleball much, I still think with all the amount of practice that Sam could get, he still couldn't hold his own with a true racket player.
I guess we're just gonna have to put it to the test.
We're going to live stream it. We're going to sell pay-per-view. It's going to be incredible. But yes, I cannot wait. I'm so glad the weather is nice. Bri, again, thank you for joining us. It's so fun that we get introduced to incredible humans like you who have such a similar mission and what they're passionate about. So I'm excited to share your story with Elevation Nation and get some guidance on some of your perspective for life and the lessons that you've learned for our audience and for our elevators out there. But before we begin, this is Elevation Nation. Obviously, Parker and I know who you are, but for Elevation Nation and everybody that's listening, can we hear a little elevator pitch? Who are you?
Yeah, definitely. It's actually funny because we teach that at Lead. So I'm Bri Blair. I co-founded Lead Networking Group, and our focus is putting relationships first and business second, driving personal and professional growth. And honestly, that is how I live my life a little bit, is putting our relationships first and business second, because ultimately that is going to drive you to success.
Damn, Sam. We've learned a lot about that, haven't we?
And that was a polished elevator pitch.
That was very
Obviously, Lead is
polished.
doing something right.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? You said who you were, you said what you do, and you said what's the value we bring to the world. Boom, boom, boom. Short elevator, but it's a damn strong and good one. It's moving
Hey, some
fast.
elevators are only one floor, okay? You gotta get it all in.
I will say, and I'm not calling out other elevators. We've had some other elevators who their elevators were long, long floors, and so maybe Bree, we need to connect you with those people. That's
We'll
amazing,
get them
though.
in our
It's super
workshop.
cool. Spending every day trying to focus on how to make better connections, which can help you then lead to better business. Tell us more about that. What does that mean for you on a given day?
Yeah, so I know it's a day, but my weeks are very much focused on creating new connections with people, whether that's like out at a networking event, at work, or honestly socializing. A lot of the people who come to lead have been some people we just met socializing. They're like, "Oh my God, I love that idea." And we're like, "Please come to lead. Like, we'll teach you more body language, etc." So on a daily basis, it's putting effort into other people. Of course, you don't want to lose yourself, but you're putting effort into getting to know other people, their goals, their networks, and you're staying open minded because that's going to help you grow as a person. And then you learn from others, and then they learn from you, etc.
And I think that's a growth and relationship mindset that I want to get into a little bit more. And obviously, part of the inspiration behind you creating Lead and creating a networking group down in Charlotte is based on your experiences and how important networking was to you. But what was that moment that you decided, okay, maybe I'm not going to go to other networking events, or what I'm getting through work is not enough. Starting your own thing is not easy. What was the spark that made you realize, like, yeah, I'm going to do this myself because no one's solving this problem that I have?
Yeah, so my business partner, Caroline, and I, it was funny. We were actually running a 5K on Thanksgiving when we decided that we were going to do this. And the reason why is because combined, we have over 15 years of networking and going out into different networking groups, whether it's social, anywhere is higher, where it's paid like yearly thousands of dollars. And we've noticed that there is a gap in networking, and a lot of it is focused on transactional business exchange. What can this person do for me? The problem with that statement is we we're a help first mindset. If I'm helping you first, I'm going to build trust with you. And building trust with you means you're more likely going to refer me or think of me when something or an opportunity arises. So if we switch that mentality, you're opening yourself up to a whole new network of opportunities versus saying, in this closed-minded group, here's my business card. I have a stack of business cards on my desk that I've reached out to. 98% don't reach back out, and they're not going to, and that's okay. But it showcases that if you spend the 30 minutes that you would be going through these business cards and create relationships with these people, you're going to see more benefit in the long run for yourself and your businesses.
Sam and I used to we had before Elevation Nation, we had a company called Hired You. I guess Elevation Nation technically is Hired You, but Hired You was all focused on helping college kids navigate the internship and job process. And
Mm-hmm.
we created this online course and curriculum on, it was like what, 15 lessons, Sam? And one of
Wow.
our key foundational lessons was around networking and how important it is to meet people so that you can create new opportunities for yourself and in honestly return for that other individual that you meet too. And one thing Sam and I, like, it hit us when we were like, wait, we really have to talk about this, is we were at a career fair. And Sam, you remember this, at the University of Maryland, representing our current company. And we were at the booth, and people came up to us, and they were so robotic in how they, delivered their elevator pitch, how they tried to create some type of connection with us, which in turn most didn't create a connection because it was so robotic. It was like blah blah blah. It was almost they had it perfectly executed. Like they practiced it in the mirror every single day and all of that. And there was just they left, and Sam and I were like, okay, we're not moving this person forward. There's like we didn't feel any spark. And one thing that we found in how we taught this that helped people was almost not even talk about like the work side of things. Try to create some type of non work connection with that other person before getting into the actual stuff. So my question for you, Bree, how are you like what's a tip that you're giving someone who's really just trying to figure out their networking and,
Mhm.
create better connections with people when they first meet them?
Yeah, first off, you're on the money when it comes to creating a relationship first. Um, what we do at Lead, to preface, is we don't, our name tags are not a name and what you do for work. It's a name and what we call three ask me abouts. So it's anything about like dogs or solo traveling to podcasts to a specific book. And we don't, our rule is we don't talk work right away. Because if I were to say, what do you do for work? Right? You don't unconsciously, most people don't know how to respond after that. So my first tip is to ask somebody, hey, what are three things you're passionate about? What's a goal you're excited you're looking for 2024? Ask something a little bit more outside the box because it's going to put them on the spot. They're going to require thinking, and automatically you're creating a conversation versus what do you do for work? Oh, I'm in marketing. What do you do?
It's I think that's a very simple and fair tip, and I will add another one in here that
Yes.
Parker and I use, admittedly, on the podcast, which is we're both very vulnerable and introspective and emotional and empathetic with others and ourselves.
Mhm.
Yeah, like we're emotional dudes, and I'm comfortable doing that now. but I do it on purpose. Like, let's be honest. Yeah, I love building relationships and telling my story, but when I say I was depressed when I graduated college because I didn't know what I was doing with my life, and that's what inspired Parker and I to start Elevation Nation, because we wanted to help other people, and I had no direction or sense of purpose or fulfillment or happy, right? Like, I'm saying a spiel and I'm saying a story, sure, but I know that you are, one, feeling a little bit bad for me. Two, you're going, I felt like that too at one point, right? And
Hmm.
so it's kind of breaking down these walls of professionalism that typically we have in many business
Yep.
conversations, many podcasts, right? People hear Parker and I speak and they're like, is that professional enough? And I like to joke, when we were doing those career fairs, I used to say to the kids at the end, I want to hire someone that I want to get a beer with after a long day at work. I travel all the time for work. I'm in different, cities. Do I want to hang out and go out to dinner with that person after a long day of grinding on a project with them or not? And it's so funny because students just don't think that that is what employers are looking for. Guess what? We're big kids. Like, I do not feel like I am a 28-year-old adult. I'm a big kid who has a little bit of more power at a company because I've worked my way up. We are just big kids with more money.
Yep.
And I think that's something that I tried to emphasize with a lot of the young students and elevators that we talk to that reach out to us is build rapport, build a relationship.
Hmm.
We like sports. We like pop culture. We like music just as much as college kids. Talk to us about those things because many of us are in jobs that sure we love, but we have a life beyond the office. And that's where you build true connections with other people.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And the other thing, like you mentioned, I'll never forget one of the first jobs I took out of college was with a startup. And I came in with like dressing like in the suit, the nice out, what they tell you, dress for the job you want. And it was a startup in New York City, and everybody wore like jeans and t-shirts. And I remember being so out of place because I had always separated work and my personal life. So now being in this position where I've combined the two, ironically, it is something that I've had to learn and now teach people how to do it because it does b- require you to be vulnerable and say, hey, how did you go from not being able to enter a room and being uncomfortable to now walking into a room and talking to anybody you want? It takes practice, it takes consistency, and being authentic at the end of the day.
Sam and I like to say vulnerability breeds credibility.
Love
And
that.
when you're vulnerable, that means that you're just being yourself. You're able to truly allow someone to hear and understand how you're truly feeling. Something that
Hmm.
I struggled with. Part of the reason why Sam and I changed from Hired You to Elevation Nation was because I struggled really mightily after graduation and starting in my job too at the company that Sam and I work with because I thought I had to be someone else and act like someone else that I portrayed in my head. And as a
Hmm.
result, you can imagine the networking conversations were very robotic. The connections I was trying to make, the way I was going about it was just not who I was. And when Sam and I did this dirty work in building the foundation of what we call, and we'll get into in a bit, called mental fortitude, that has helped
Yeah.
us navigate how we can elevate our mindset to be able to conquer the real world. That was when it clicked. It was like, no, you really have to just be yourself when you're in any moment because that's what anybody would want for you. Like they didn't hire you to be someone else. They hired you for you. So why are you going to portray yourself a different way?
100%.
I think also there's a very big difference now between our parents' generation in the professional world and our generation. And I think many, if not almost all, of the large corporations have started to catch up. So, for example, right, Parker and I work in Big Four Consulting. It's been very formal, suit and tie and dress shirt for a long time. Parker and I have the opportunity to go speak there tomorrow, actually. We are wearing t shirts and jeans and Nikes because the tides have changed, right? And so I think this formality, unfortunately, is still being taught in business schools because the professors and the admins are out of touch. They haven't been in the professional world in a long time. And many of them don't realize that there's this new change and this new generation coming in that I'll grind, I'll get work done. but I don't need to be in a suit. In fact, I will connect with you more if I'm wearing something a bit more casual and I'm a bit more comfortable. And so I think, to wrap this up a little bit for Elevation Nation and some of the students out there that are listening, it's very dependent on your situation, right? There are some places that are much more formal, some of the investment banks and things like of that nature. If you're on Wall Street, still a little bit formal. Figure it out, talk to people, see what that situation is like, how formal and professional you need to be, but adjust. And I like to say, be a little bit of a chameleon, right? Based
Yep.
on where you are, the city, the type of job, the role, how junior or senior the person is that you're talking to. Adjust your conversation and how you portray yourself accordingly to try to connect with them in the best possible way.
100%. And just to piggyback off of that, like they teach like the networking and adjusting your conversation, but just as important it is to manage down, is just as important to manage up and be able to speak to the leadership just as you would with respect to like your parents or like somebody who's an elder of you. Speak with respect, but speak to them and show who you are. Like they don't want someone who's stiff.
It's a great point. I think it's part of growing up to realize that, but then also at the same time, like, why would you approach someone very differently? Like, what makes that person? Why are you putting that person on a pedestal compared to another person? Everyone's equal.
Yeah.
So that's the way I see it. Great. So let's move this conversation along a bit. So I'm really curious. You're balancing being an entrepreneur and you have a full-time job. Sam and I are both in that same boat too. What is that balance like for you?
Yeah, I think time management for any entrepreneur or person out there is like the number one skill. Time blocking is huge. So I think everybody wants to do everything a lot of the time. And I'm sure as you guys probably understand, like you want to do this, you want to go here, and you want to do X, Y, and Z. What I learned over doing that for so long was I need to focus on what's the priority. What is my passion? What's the priority? Where do I want to spend my time? Because that's going to drive me a lot further than if I'm dipping my toes in a lot of different things. And it took a lot of years of experience to figure that out. And anyone's going to figure it out as they go. But once you kind of find that secret sauce of, okay, I dedicate Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays to one-on-ones from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., whatever it may be. That's my dedication time to that. And then the other time is this is all for corporate or this is all for personal, this is for social. Know your time and where it's being spent because that is huge in your long-term success.
I want to ask you a question, Bree, on that,
Yeah.
which is you have a full-time job. Time blocking is huge. That's how Parker and I are successful. But I want to ask, how has Truist felt with you building such an amazing community and organization? Have they been supportive? Has it been a bit of a struggle to have them realize that you have something you care about outside of work?
That's such a good question because I think in the past I would have struggled with it. And you learn over time that like you have to be your authentic self. And when I joined Truist, I was that networking, happy-go-lucky, positive, on the engagement committee person. And I still am to this day. So I kind of just use my skill set outside of work and use it to benefit Truist inside of work as well. So increasing, happy hours and cultures, but also my relationship skills has brought cross-functional departments together to drive business forward. And at the end of the day, as long as my work is getting completed in a great or, for my standard, exceptional way, then everybody's happy. And I have amazing leadership that I'm actually really grateful for, that understand that like this fills my cup, it fills your cup.
I'm so glad that Truist feels that way. I think, a bit of self-reflection here. Parker and I kept this hidden from our Big Four employer for a very long time.
Yeah.
Because we were scared, right? Like we were very junior. We had no idea what they would think. And so we kept it hidden. And then finally, I told some trusted mentors and leaders at the firm, as did Parker. And they were like, this rocks. You guys are crushing it. I want to repost it. And so that really helped us feel comfortable and confident to lean into, hey, This is who we are. We're trying to make the world a better place. We are really doing stuff that elevates your brand and our brands together. So much so now that we've leaned in so hard, they now are having us come speak at corporate events for our real job. And that has been the dream since we started. Knock on wood, everything goes smoothly and no one sues us, but it's all coming together now. And I'm really proud of both our organizations for realizing that there's power with passion outside of our day-to-day jobs.
That's phenomenal. And that, first off, congratulations. Like, that's absolutely phenomenal. And I just want to say, like, that's not the case for both you and I in those situations. I was in a situation where I had gotten promoted at a big corporate company, and they said to me, it was in the promotion, they said, you're going to quit your other side jobs, right? And it was associate position. It wasn't senior or anything. And I said, no. But 23, 24-year-old me was terrified, and I didn't know how to say that. I eventually ended up leaving for a better opportunity because I could not be who I was, but also still be successful. Think about it. You just got promoted because you're good at what you do, but you're not allowed to be who you are. You're not going to thrive in your professional way or your personal way. So that's another thing to navigate to people who are coming out of school. Like, how do you learn how to stick up for yourself and network appropriately? Like, thankfully, your company and my company have been very receptive. Unfortunately, it's not always like that, but you got to stand up for yourself.
Paradigm shift, especially in the way our generation and the generation below us has been exposed to the internet and other things. Like, I think the corporations and who don't understand that young people like us have a lot of people have second side hustles. Like, all
Yeah.
the it's just a normal thing. People want to find different ways to fuel their passion or find another way to make money. And I think the corporations and the businesses that don't allow their employees to thrive and be who they want without obviously decreasing their productivity, like, are going to be the ones who are going to lose out on the best talent down the road. And so Sam knows this.
Can I add something to that, Parker?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to toot all three of our own horns, but I think I can probably imagine what all of us were like in high school and college. We were involved in a ton of stuff. We got great grades. We managed everything. We were social. We had activities. We had clubs we were passionate about. We didn't do one thing on purpose. We've been trained as elevators to do a lot. That's how you get into a great school. That's how you're well-rounded. That's how you get good grades. That's how you get the internship. Why all of a sudden, when I get a full-time job, I'm supposed to eliminate all of that thinking that's been ingrained in me for my entire life? Like, that makes no sense to me. You asked me to have a resume that's diverse and robust. And then as soon as you're paying me, you want me to just focus on one thing for my entire life? No, that's not how this works. And so if they want to retain the good talent, like all three of us and all of the elevators out there in Elevation Nation or that are listening, they need to realize that we are more than just a 9 to 5. We have a lot of things and a lot of value to bring to the table.
Yeah, and if you keep people like us stimulated too, it's going to showcase, like, it's going to flow right back into our work because we're feeling motivated and challenged. If we're not feeling challenged, that is the number one reason most people leave, besides a boss. But like people like hyperachievers and such, we need to feel challenged.
1,000,000%. I agree. All right, Bree, I want to bring us into our next section. We have elevators in Elevation Nation around the world that listen in to our podcast that wanted to get some advice on networking from a professional like you. So I have a few Elevation Nation scenarios that I want to run by you to get some advice out to those elevators. So I'm going to start it off. This comes in, it's a new college student, so someone net new to being in college, and they know the term networking. They've heard about networking, but have no idea where to even begin. Where should they go? What should they do? And how do they deal about being nervous and really conversing with adults for the first time in their lives on a one-on-one basis?
Fantastic question. And I'm so glad we're talking about it because they teach you have to network, but what does that mean? Nobody actually knows. And real, it's true. I didn't. I was a corporate person who said, oh, I'm going to go out and network. It wasn't until I started doing that I was like, oh, entrepreneur and all these other things. But to answer her question, he or she's question specifically, even if it's just networking and joining a club at that level of that freshman year, get out. Like that is the most important part. Networking doesn't necessarily need to be that you go to a networking event. Sometimes it's just getting out and expanding your network. So go join a club, volunteer, maybe join a club, a board of, a business, AMA for marketing, public relation, PRSA for public relations. There's so many options out there. That's networking in college. Now, how do you deal with the uncomfortableness? Not, many people might not like my answer, but it's being consistent. You can't show up one time and expect it to be comfortable the next time. But as you keep showing up, you build relationships with the people around you because they see you there consistently. And now it's no longer uncomfortable because you know someone when you walk in. And I can break down other things in terms of body language or things to do to make your energy open. I'm happy to dive into that. But like from a basis points, as a college student, I would join social clubs right away. I get involved with something in terms of the business that you're involved with for your major or what your goals are. And be consistent. Pick one or two things and keep showing up.
I like it. Keep showing up. Consistency. Back to our point about authenticity breeds credibility. How about consistency breeds credibility? Sam and I, when we did the podcast, we first started going, we were like, we're going to show up every week. Now we're over 300 episodes later, and that brings authentic, energy because we're real about this. But I love,
Amazing.
I love the advice. I think it's great. Here's another scenario for you. This is not coming from me because it doesn't pertain to me, but it probably unfortunately pertains to other people. I was just laid off. What should I do to lean on my network in helping me find a new gig? I don't want to go and feel overbearing even among my friends who might seem like like I'm asking them for something.
Yeah, that's a big one. So most people don't actually know, but 85% of your jobs actually come from networking. That's Most people don't get it from putting in an application. So the good news is he's on the right path. The part to actually get out there is most people don't want to ask for help. So if anything, you can ask for, hey, can you look over my resume? Hey, do you know anyone in my network that you can connect me with? Those are some good questions to get started with. Another I would highly recommend is just reach someone and be like, hey, can we grab coffee? 30 minutes. Because you're not asking them for them to do something. You're asking for someone's time, and most people will never turn down a coffee chat because you're learning about them, they're learning about you, and as you build that relationship with them, they're going to think of other people they can connect you with. And you'll be able to help them in other ways too. But you're slowly building that network, and then you'll feel more comfortable after that 30 minutes of having a good conversation. Hey, if there is anyone you know in your network that could offer me a conversation, please reach out to me. You're not asking for a job. You're doing the work. You're just asking your network for the help to get you to do the work.
I agree wholeheartedly with that advice. I think don't go in asking or having expectations of a job. Go in refreshing and updating and maintaining your network. However, I do
Mm-hmm.
want to add one caveat.
Yeah, please.
If you do see a job posting that you're
Yeah.
interested in and you see one of your connections working there, it is okay to reach out for a coffee, for a chat and say, hey, I saw this opportunity. Do you happen to know more about this role? Would this be working with you by chance? Right? Like
Oh,
that is
definitely.
okay. Certainly feel comfortable asking for more details on that company. I think everyone, I'm going to tell you a little secret here. Sometimes you get referral bonuses if someone joins a company and you were the one that put their name in the resume portal. So you might be having your friend take you out to a steak dinner if you get hired at their company. So don't be afraid to ask. You never know what the rewards might be for both of you.
No, you're 100% right. And I think that goes back to the whole point of if they're afraid, they're uncomfortable. Like that is what you just said. Don't be afraid to ask. It's okay to ask for help. And that in itself is being uncomfortable. That can lead you to growth. whether that's asking for a job or whatever it may be. So that uncomfortableness of
100%.
asking for help that most of us
Absolutely.
do feel on a daily basis,
All right,
we've
Pri.
all been
That was great
there,
advice. I
and
want to
people
move
want
us.
to help.
Sorry, you froze. So I didn't know you were talking. All good. You're back now. Great advice, Bri. I am 100% aligned with you. I want to move us into our next section here, our rapid fire section, where we have a couple quick hitting questions. We just want to know the first thing that pops into your mind. So I'm going to start with this one. This one's interesting for someone that runs their own networking community. I want to ask you, what is your favorite type of networking event? Is it a pickleball tournament?
Ooh, we have our socials, but it's so funny you say that because we're kind of coordinating a pickleball one coming up. Because psychologically speaking, you want to know why? Psychologically speaking, humans are more likely to create a connection over an experience. And that is why I don't believe in the general networking. Create something that people will enjoy, and then they'll create relationships.
Well,
So,
I have a great scenario for you.
yeah.
If we're able to do it, Parker and I can swing down to Charlotte for your pickleball networking event, and no one's going to want to network with us because they're going to be like, who are those weirdos yelling at each other, playing one-on-one by themselves? So we might
Yeah,
look bad for your
intense.
networking, but it'll be entertaining nonetheless.
You know what? We do have a lot of New Yorkers, okay? Like, I am New York. Like, we might get the vibe.
There you go. There you go.
I like it.
I love it. So experiences, Bree, is that kind of
Yes,
what I
experience,
heard?
social and
Social
experiences for
experiences.
sure. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
I'm a big fan of that too. I really am. That's the best way to meet people, no doubt. Is like doing something, even if it's at work. I'd rather meet someone, even the experience of like doing a little activity at work instead of, hey, we're gonna go to like a room where we're all gonna network. Like, come on. It's kind of like
Yeah.
transactional, weird. I don't know. Okay, next question. Rapid fire. Dream guess to be at a lead event.
Oh, that is such a hard. I'm horrible with names. Oh my God. Okay. Um. uh, man, you put me on the spot. I'm not a pop culture
It's
person.
rapid fire. It could be
Oh my
anyone.
goodness.
It doesn't have to be
The
Um.
correct
popular.
answer here is Sam and Parker playing pickleball, but it's fine. You can think of someone
You know
else.
what? You know
Go
what?
ahead.
That's actually a fantastic answer, but I'm gonna try to be a little extra. Um. Wow, I really need to be better at this.
It could be anybody. Anybody. Rapid fire. Let's hear it.
Uh, my dog.
Boom. It's great.
You know what?
It's a good
Good
She
one.
answer.
probably would get more people to come to the event than I would.
People love a good dog at a networking event. I get it.
It's a great commonality.
I totally get it.
I'm getting
All right.
backlash for this one later.
You are going to get some backlash. That's okay. You can text us what your actual answer is. All right. Last rapid fire. Parker and I love to read. As you can see behind him, he has a lot of books on his bookshelf. So, Bree, we want to know if you have a recommendation of a book that you love for Elevation Nation.
Yes, I have a few. I'll start with one of my favorites. It's Positive Intelligence by Shazard. I highly recommend that to anybody who's fresh out of college, in college, or even just in your career. Another one is the Dave. Oh my goodness, told you about his name.
Goggins.
Thank you, Dave
David
Goggins.
Goggins. Yeah.
Yeah, his book is phenomenal. Teaches you a lot of that mental fortitude that you guys speak on. And then in terms of relationships, some might give me backlash for this, but I'm currently reading How to Influence Others. And the reason it's really good at learning like how to create relationships. Some could argue it could be a little bit much, but I think it's a good starting point.
What's it? How to make friends and influence people? Is that what it is?
Yeah, yeah, how to
Yeah.
make friends and influence people.
It's on there somewhere.
It's a great book.
Oh,
It's a
Yeah.
so
classic.
Mike,
Boom.
I
There you
gotta
go.
ask you, what's your recommendation?
Oh my God. It depends what you're looking for. How about this? For you,
All
Bree,
right.
have you read Give and Take by Adam Grant?
I don't think I have.
All right, well, as a
Writing
gift
it
from
down.
Sam and myself, we'll be sending you Give and Take by Adam Grant. It's an incredible book. Adam Grant is a Wharton professor, organizational psychologist who discusses how most people get through life and they rise and let's call it the corporate ladder by taking. They spend their day by trying to, how can I improve this for myself? How can I improve this for myself? And those people do see results. They do get to where they want to go. But he makes an argument that the ones who excel over a long, long period of time and end up getting to the mountaintop, even higher than those who are the takers, are the givers. The ones who put others in front of themselves, and the others who reach out and say, hey, yeah, I'd love to have a conversation with you over coffee. That would be amazing. I would give you my time because, maybe something good will happen in the long run. It's a great, great, great book. And I highly recommend you read it because we're going to get it for you. So it's not even a recommendation
I'll
anymore.
definitely read it. Thank you. And I'm kind of glad you said that because that's kind of key to like, there's two different ways people look at succeeding in life. It's either kind of alone and being that like taker to your point of go, 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 go. You only make it to such a high point before you kind of burn yourself out or you burn your relationships or whatever it may be. Whereas you're playing the long game when it comes to relationship building to the point where you get to your 40s, 50s, 60s. You're not even marketing yourself anymore, your business. You've created a whole network around you, being your authentic self and creating those relationships. So super excited to read that. Thank you.
All right, Bree. Our final section of the podcast, our favorite segment of the podcast. Every single elevator in Elevation Nation has what we call a mental motto, a phrase that embodies who they are and how they live their life. In fact, so much so, Parker and I are on a mission to help 1 million young adults and old adults and all adults and kids and whoever get their own mental mottos. So much so, we are speaking on it tomorrow at our company, and we're getting them all mental mottos. But today the focus is on you, Bree Blair. What is your mental motto?
Love it. It's courage, connection, and growth. The top 3 things I think everyone should have.
Courage, connection, and was the last one growth?
Yes.
I like it. I like it a lot. Tell us more about why that is your mental motto.
So it kind of breaks up into 3 different reasons. Courage is encompassing you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You have already rejected yourself if you don't even try or ask for it. So getting outside your comfort zone. Connection, because we're forging those relationships to build a better network eventually, right? Focusing on that networking and being deep and vulnerable. And then growth is because you should have a commitment to learning and growing your mindset and your professional and personal lives every day. Because if you're the smartest person in the room, I'm a big believer, you are in the wrong room. Never be that person. You should always be in a room where you're learning from other people.
And it's perfect. It aligns exactly to your organization, this incredible lead networking group and community that you are building in Charlotte. So any of our listeners in the Charlotte area or outside of that area that just want to learn more about what Bree and her co-founder are building together, we will have information linked in our bio. Our latest elevator is certainly impressive. Bree, you gave a ton of amazing insight for us, for high school and college students, for recent graduates, young adults, old adults. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. We are so excited to officially welcome you into the nation and just help you continue to elevate what you were building because you were doing amazing things. And we're just so honored that you're now in our little family.
Well, thank you. You guys are doing fantastic. And I can't wait for the day for you to meet 1 million people. Say that 5 times fast.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
One networking event at a time.
One networking event at a time. Slowly. I'm so excited. It's going to happen. No questions asked.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. That's the goal.
Yeah.
All right, Elevation Nation. Until next week. Peace.
Thank you, guys.
Bree, you crushed it.